Happy Pencil Day, everyone. So March 30th is Pencil Day. How do you plan on celebrate? Well, I wanted to show you how I made this pencil exemplar. I made this actually a couple of years ago, but I also teach the pressure release technique that I use to create this exemplar. And this is actually a printout of it. So this is the quality of the actual printout. You're going to see a lot of detail in these letters, but I want to show you how I created it. So first of all, I used the Palomino Blackwing 602. It's slightly softer than the 601, and I just love the feel of this pencil. And I also used it to get all that wonderful texture and detail. The paper is very important, and so I use the Gilbert Bond 25% cotton practice pad, and that's I think the item number is P70, and that's from John Neal Books. Now this is an 11 by 17, so it's nice and big, but it also comes in 8.5 by 11. And how I started out with this was first I made a guide sheet, and I made this on my computer in Illustrator. This is about 3/4 of an inch um, tall between each one of these lines, or about 2 centimeters. And then I used the Fine One outliner by Neuland, the number 1 outliner art marker, so you can see it has a brush nib, also by Neuland, and a Fine One art marker, which this wasn't the one I used. I used an outliner, but it's got a nice long, skinny nib like this. And I wanted to use black so that it would be nice and bold. And this is the one that I actually made. So I placed a piece of paper. This is 11 by 17 copy paper, specifically Hammer Mill. I think it's the inkjet paper, and it's got a really nice finish. It works great with markers. And so I wrote all of these letters out, and you'll see I kind of played with the guidelines a little bit. I brought them a little bit closer together. But I wrote these out using that marker in lots of different styles. So we have Roman hand, architect, brush lettering, national parks, twinkle, more brush lettering. Anyway, so lots of wonderful letters. And then I put this underneath the first page in my practice pad, Gilbert 25% bond, so you can kind of see it a little bit. And that was my guide sheet to, to create this exemplar. Now, this isn't the original. This is actually the printout, but I wanted you to see the detail in all of this nice, wonderful texture that I got in the letters. And I'm using the pressure and release technique, which means you're using pressure to get the darker colors and then go a little bit lighter for the lighter. And the technique calls for where you have the terminals, the mark is going to be a little bit darker, and then it's going to be thinner in between. And so take something like, let's look at the D. You'll see here that the terminals are darker, but then it gets darker around the curve. So I used that throughout, even when I was making something like this letter H. Even though this was twinkle lettering style, I drew it, so I had to draw several lines in here to create that same pressure and release look, but on a thicker letter form. Now, you can check out, you can learn how to do this in my class, Make It Your Lettering Year, at letslettertogether.com, or if you just want to pick up an exemplar like this, it makes for a great poster, or you can use it to get some lettering styles and some ideas from. You can go to my Gumroad page, and I put the link the in the post. So hope to see you sometime online. If you make some letters using your pencil, please tag me on Instagram at Corp Graffiti Art. I'd love to see your work, or post it here in the comments. I would love to see that. And if you make any letters, just do that for me. And I'd love to letter with you more, and let me know how you plan to celebrate Pencil Day.